Sagittarius, November 2025 is your cosmic ignition. Mars fuels your fire, Mercury retrograde scrambles your voice, and Saturn demands emotional maturity. The archer is being tested, your aim, your truth, your identity. This isn't just a forecast, it's a soul recalibration. The stars are shifting fast. Are you ready to rise? Chapter 1, November 1st to 10th. The Inner Compass Awakens. Sagittarius, the first 10 days of November 2025 are not about action. They're about alignment. The cosmos is whispering, not shouting. And if you listen closely, you'll hear the recalibration of your inner compass. The sun continues its journey through Scorpio, activating your 12th house, the realm of endings, subconscious patterns, and spiritual purification. This is the final descent before your solar rebirth. But descent doesn't mean defeat. It means preparation. The month opens with the moon gliding through Pisces and Aries, triggering your 4th and 5th houses. These lunar movements stir your emotional foundation and creative instincts. Pisces, a mutable water sign, harmonizes with your spiritual sensitivity, enhancing your intuitive perception. You may feel a subtle pull toward solitude, reflection, and inner healing. Aries, however, jolts your system with urgency, activating your desire to express, create, and initiate. This lunar rhythm sets the tone. Sagittarius must balance emotional depth with visionary fire. You are being asked to listen inward before you act outward. The moon's passage through these signs is a gentle nudge to recalibrate your emotional compass and prepare for the intensity ahead. The full moon in Taurus on November 5th lands in your 6th house of health, daily rituals, and service. This lunation is grounding, sensual, and uncompromising. Taurus demands embodiment. It asks, are you living in alignment with your physical truth? Are your routines nourishing or depleting? Are you honoring the sacred rhythm of your body? For Sagittarius, this full moon exposes the disconnect between vision and reality. You may have grand ideas, expansive goals, and spiritual insights, but Taurus wants results. This lunation reveals where your habits sabotage your vitality, where your service lacks structure, and where your body is calling for attention. The 6th house is often overlooked, but it is the foundation of everything. Without discipline, the archer's aim falters. This full moon is a cosmic mirror, reflecting the state of your physical and energetic systems. It's time to release what's unsustainable and recommit to rituals that support your expansion. From November 6th to 10th, Venus in Libra squares Jupiter retrograde in Cancer. This transit activates your 11th and 8th houses, creating tension between social desires and emotional depth. Venus in Libra seeks harmony, beauty, and connection. Jupiter in Cancer, however, dives into emotional truth, ancestral memory, and soul contracts. This square is a cosmic tug-of-war. Sagittarius is being pulled between the allure of external validation and the call of inner transformation. You may feel the urge to connect, collaborate, and dream big, but Jupiter retrograde reminds you that true expansion begins within. The 8th house is not light, it's shadow. It asks, what are you avoiding? What emotional debts remain unpaid? What truths are buried beneath your optimism? This transit challenges Sagittarius to refine its desires. What do you truly want, and why? Are your dreams rooted in soul truth or escapist fantasy? Venus and Jupiter are both benefics, but their square demands discernment. Choose depth over distraction. Choose truth over comfort. Throughout this first decade, the sun continues to illuminate your 12th house. This is not a visible realm. It's the hidden dimension of your psyche. The 12th house governs endings, karma, dreams, and spiritual surrender. It is the place where the ego dissolves and the soul speaks. For Sagittarius, this transit is a sacred pause. You are being asked to retreat, reflect, and release. The 12th house is not passive. It's purifying. It strips away illusions, dissolves attachments, and prepares you for rebirth. You may feel emotionally raw, energetically sensitive, or spiritually restless. Honor it. This is your chrysalis. The 12th house also governs dreams and intuition. Pay attention to symbols, synchronicities, and inner nudges. The universe is speaking in whispers, not declarations. Listen closely. The insights you receive now will shape your solar season ahead. The planetary choreography of this chapter is subtle but profound. The moon stirs your emotional waters. The full moon in Taurus grounds your body. Venus and Jupiter challenge your desires. And the Sun in Scorpio purifies your soul. Together they form a sacred sequence, a cosmic initiation. Sagittarius is being asked to pause, reflect, and realign. This is not a time for bold moves or external declarations. It's a time for inner recalibration. Your compass is being reset, not by force but by truth. The choices you make now will determine the clarity of your aim when your solar season begins. You are not lost, you are being refined. The archer's arrow must be drawn back before it can fly. And this first chapter is the draw. Trust the tension. Trust the silence. Trust the process. Chapter 2, November 11th to 20th. The Archer's Crucible. Sagittarius, the second decade of November 2025 is not a continuation. It's a confrontation. The cosmos shifts from whisper to roar and you are no longer preparing. You are being forged. This is your crucible, a sacred furnace where identity, desire, and truth collide. The planetary transits now demand action, reflection, and emotional maturity. The archer must aim with clarity or risk scattering their fire. On November 12th, Mars enters your sign, activating your first house of identity, physical energy, and personal drive. This is a surge of cosmic fuel. Mars in Sagittarius is bold, restless, and unapologetically direct. You may feel a sudden rush of ambition, a need to move, speak, and initiate. But this fire is not neutral, it must be directed. Mars amplifies your natural traits: independence, idealism, and visionary thinking. But it also exposes your shadow: impulsiveness, arrogance, and emotional detachment. The first house governs how you show up in the world. With Mars here, every action becomes a declaration of self. You are being asked to embody your truth, not just speak it. This transit is a test of alignment. Are your actions reflecting your soul's purpose, or your ego's hunger? Mars gives you power, but it also demands responsibility. Use this energy to initiate projects, assert boundaries, and claim your space. But avoid reckless decisions. The archer must aim before releasing the arrow. Just days after Mars enters your sign, Mercury stations retrograde in Sagittarius on November 16th. This is a cosmic twist. Mercury governs communication, thought, and perception. In retrograde, it turns inward, asking you to review, revise, and reframe. And in your first house, this retrograde becomes deeply personal. Expect mental fog, miscommunications, and delays, especially around self-expression, identity, and personal plans. You may feel misunderstood, scattered, or uncertain. But beneath the surface, this retrograde is a gift. It invites Sagittarius to question the stories you tell about yourself. Are you living your truth, or performing a version of it? Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius challenges your belief systems. You may revisit old ideas, confront outdated philosophies, or re-examine your spiritual framework. This is not a time to preach, it's a time to listen. The answers you seek are buried beneath layers of conditioning. Let Mercury guide you inward. This transit also affects your voice. You may struggle to articulate your thoughts or feel hesitant to speak. Honor the silence. Use this time to refine your message. When Mercury turns direct, your words will carry more weight, because they'll be rooted in truth. On November 19th, Saturn stations direct in Pisces, activating your fourth house of home, emotional foundation, and ancestral memory. This marks a turning point in your inner stability. Saturn retrograde has been reviewing your commitments, testing your boundaries, and exposing emotional immaturity. Now, as it turns direct, the lessons crystallize. Sagittarius is being asked to take responsibility for their emotional roots. The fourth house governs your inner sanctuary, the place you retreat to when the world becomes too loud. Saturn here demands structure, discipline, and maturity. You may feel called to redefine your relationship with family, home, or personal history. This transit is not about comfort, it's about integrity. Saturn asks, are you building your life on solid ground? Are your emotional foundations stable, or are they built on avoidance? You may feel a renewed sense of duty, a desire to create lasting emotional security. But Saturn's gifts come slowly. You must earn them. This is also a time for ancestral healing. Pisces dissolves boundaries and Saturn crystallizes them. Together, they invite you to confront inherited patterns, karmic imprints, and emotional legacies. The healing begins when you choose to break the cycle. The planetary choreography of this chapter is relentless. Mars ignites your ambition. Mercury scrambles your thoughts. Saturn demands emotional maturity. Together they form a crucible, a sacred container for transformation. Sagittarius is being tested on every level: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. This is not punishment, it's purification. The cosmos is stripping away what's false, unstable, or misaligned. You may feel exposed, uncertain, or overwhelmed. But beneath the chaos, a new foundation is forming. Sagittarius is being forged into something stronger, wiser, and more authentic. Your instincts will be sharp, but your emotions may be volatile. Ground yourself in ritual, reflection, and truth. Avoid distractions. Focus on what matters. The choices you make now will echo into the future. This is your moment to define your values, claim your power, and build a life that reflects your soul's blueprint. Mercury retrograde may slow your speech, but Mars will keep your fire alive. Saturn may feel heavy, but it's building something sacred. Trust the process. The archer's aim is being refined, not for speed but for precision. Chapter 3, November 21st to 30th. The Archer rises. Sagittarius, the final stretch of November 2025 is your emergence. After 2 intense decades of inner recalibration and cosmic confrontation, the stars now open a portal to renewal. But this rebirth is not symbolic. It's energetic. You are stepping into your solar season and the universe is watching. The Archer must rise, not as a wanderer but as a visionary. On November 22nd, the Sun enters your sign, activating your first house of identity, vitality, and personal truth. This marks the beginning of your solar season, a time when your essence is illuminated and your presence amplified. The Sun's fire harmonizes with your own, reigniting your confidence, clarity, and creative force. This transit is a cosmic spotlight. You may feel a surge of energy, a renewed sense of purpose, and a desire to initiate. But this isn't just about visibility, it's about authenticity. The Sun in Sagittarius asks, who are you now after the crucible? What truth are you ready to embody? The first house governs your physical body, your self-image, and your personal path. With the Sun here, everything becomes a reflection of your inner alignment. You are being asked to lead, not from ego but from soul. This is your rebirth and it must be intentional. Between November 24th and 26th, the Moon moves through Scorpio and Sagittarius, echoing the Sun's journey and deepening your emotional awareness. The Moon in Scorpio activates your 12th house, stirring subconscious patterns, karmic residue, and spiritual insight. You may feel emotionally raw, but this vulnerability is sacred. It's the final purge before rebirth. As the Moon enters Sagittarius, the emotional tone shifts. You begin to feel lighter, more optimistic, and more future-focused. This lunar transition mirrors your own metamorphosis, from emotional depth to visionary expansion. Sagittarius is learning to trust the process, to release control, and to embrace the unknown. This period is ideal for emotional integration. Reflect on what you've learned, what you've lost, and what you've gained. The Moon's journey through these signs offers a chance to honor your transformation and prepare for the next chapter. You are not the same Sagittarius who entered November, and that's the point. As November closes, Jupiter continues its retrograde through Cancer, activating your 8th house of transformation, intimacy, and emotional truth. This transit is subtle but profound. Jupiter retrograde invites Sagittarius to reflect on the emotional foundations of your beliefs. What do you truly believe about love, power, and vulnerability? And where did those beliefs come from? Cancer's influence makes this reflection deeply personal. You may revisit ancestral patterns, emotional imprints, or karmic entanglements that shaped your worldview. Jupiter asks you to expand, but only after you've excavated the roots. This is a time to question inherited truths and replace them with soul-aligned wisdom. The 8th house also governs shared resources, energetic exchange, and psychological depth. You may feel called to explore mystic teachings, emotional healing, or spiritual practices that deepen your understanding of self and others. But Jupiter retrograde cautions against rushing. Let the revelations unfold organically. The answers you seek are already within you, they simply need space to rise. This transit also affects your relationship with power. Are you claiming it consciously, or avoiding it unconsciously? Jupiter retrograde in Cancer asks Sagittarius to redefine empowerment, not as dominance but as emotional integrity. The final days of November are not a conclusion, they're a coronation. Sagittarius has walked through fire, faced the mirror, and survived the storm. Now the ashes settle and the archer begins to rise. But this rebirth is not passive, it's a choice. You must choose to embody your truth, to lead with vision, and to live with purpose. You may feel a renewed sense of clarity, a deep inner peace, and a magnetic pull toward your future. The chaos of earlier transits has cleared the way for authentic expression. Sagittarius is now ready to lead, not from fear but from wisdom. Your transformation is complete, but your journey is just beginning. This chapter invites you to claim your power, honor your truth, and step boldly into your solar season. The stars have stripped you bare, but they've also revealed your essence. You are not broken, you are reborn. And the world is waiting for your light. Your voice may still be refining itself under Mercury retrograde, but your presence is undeniable. Your path may still be unfolding, but your direction is clear. Sagittarius is no longer searching. You are becoming.